Hello students, today we are going to study about nutrition in animals. If you remember our last classes, what we did in our last class, we were explaining or we were learning about the nutrition in plants, okay? But now in this chapter we are going to study about the nutrition and various aspects of nutrition in animals. Do all animals consume food or procure food in same way? If I talk about a microscopic animal like amoeba, and if I talk about human beings, do we share the same way of consuming food? I think you will say no, but it is that we have same mood. Okay, so let us see what is it. Today we are going to discuss about nutrition in animals, and the first topic that we will discuss is Holozoic nutrition. Holozoic, Holozoic, Holozoic nutrition. What is Holozoic nutrition? It is the mode of nutrition in which an organism consumes food and under various steps like ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion, the food is going through, and the journey of food goes through these 5 steps. What are they? Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Okay, so this is being followed in we as well as the microorganism. If I talk about amoeba, paramecium, they are also following the same mode. But the food intake is different in all. Okay, so we are going to discuss here Holozoic nutrition and the 5 steps of Holozoic nutrition. Like food is taken in, and that step, first step, is called ingestion of food. What do you mean by ingestion of food? Taking in food. Any organism will take food and start consuming it. So that intake of food is called ingestion. Okay, ingestion. In means it is entering inside the body of the organism. Let us discuss various examples, because ingestion or intake of food in different animals is of different types. We will start from the amoeba. How amoeba consumes food? Amoeba is an irregular organism, single celled. Remember, it is single celled. Okay, it does not have any particular shape, no characteristics shape. It keeps on changing. So it, when procures food, what it does, it makes some false foot. Okay, finger like projections, we call them pseudopodia. Pseudo, pseudo, Podia. Pseudopodia, P silent. Pseudo word means false, and pod means feet or foot. So amoeba makes pseudopodia. Pseudopodia is what? These are the false feet. Okay, when it moves, these false feet or finger-like projections are formed and they capture the food. This is called engulfing of food. Okay, so amoeba. In amoeba, the food is engulfed by making false feet. Then let us come to the second example, spider. How does spider, it's very commonly found in and around us. So how does spider captures its food or consumes its foods? It captures food by weaving a web, just like a net you might have seen. A net-like structure is weaved around, it's woven, and in that the insects, say it can be fly, it can be mosquito or in anything like this, they get entangled, it comes and captures the food. So in case of spider, the ingestion or the taking in of food is by weaving a web-like structure. Then butterfly, a very beautiful insect. Okay, colorful insect, beautiful one. Every child wants to just catch the butterfly. Okay. So in butterfly, how they take food and what is their food? Do you know? What do they take in as food? They suck the nectar, nectar, nectar of the flower. But how they suck the nectar of the flower? They have a very fine feeding tube on their mouth. Okay, it's just like it's a tubular structure which is present on the mouth, and we call it feeding tube. What do we call it? Feeding tube. It pierces into the flower and from that it sucks out the nectar. So butterfly and mosquito, they both share the same mode. That is, in mosquitoes also there is a feeding tube. But what do they suck? Do they suck nectar? No, they suck our blood. They will sit on our body, and they will insert that feeding tube inside the blood vessel, and the blood vessel keeps on searching inside, and after that it reaches the blood vessel and it starts sucking the blood. But the mode is same, feeding tube, in both butterfly as well as mosquitoes. So they both take, what do they take? Butterfly will suck the nectar from the flower and mosquitoes will suck the blood from the human beings or animals. Then let us come to the next one, that is frog. Have you ever seen how frog captures its prey? What it does? You know, let me first give you an interesting fact. Our tongue is attached at the back of the throat. Okay, in our oral cavity, the tongue is free from in front and it is attached over here. But in the case of frogs, chameleons, what happens? The tongue is just like this. It is rolled, okay, and is kept inside the mouth. And as soon as it sees the prey, it is free, it is joined from back, joined from front, and it is free from the back. As soon as it sees the prey, what it does? It unrolls. And due to the tongue being sticky, the insect gets stuck on the tongue. As a result, what happens? It captures the food and again it consumes. So, a sticky tongue which is free from back and joined from front is kept inside in the mouth, rolled in a rolled condition, and it is thrown out and it captures the flying insect and all. What about we human beings? How do we take food? Yes, how do we take food? We, with the help of our hands, we break chapati, we break it into pieces, and then with the help of vegetable or whatever, with the help of our fingers or hands, we are eating the food. Okay, so there are different modes, there are different ways in which organisms they take in food, and the process is called ingestion. So let me again repeat: amoeba, pseudopodia or false feet; spider, it weaves web and the food gets captured over there in the form of insects, etc., and it consumes. Then comes butterfly and mosquitoes, they are feeding tube, but the food that is being taken by butterfly is nectar and mosquitoes is blood of animals or human beings. Then frog, what does frog does? Frog has a tongue, sticky tongue, which is rolled inside the mouth, kept inside the mouth, and when it sees the prey, it throws it away and the insect sticks to it. Then comes man, we. And many more examples are there, but we are going to discuss here in a very short, few examples formation only. Now, after this, the food has been ingested. What happens? Now this food is digested, and the next process is digestion. In digestion, what happens? The food is a very complex substance. So it needs to be broken down into simpler forms. And what are the simpler forms called? They are called nutrients. What do we call them? Nutrients. Okay. So these nutrients are to be formed by breakdown of the complex food material into simpler forms called, or absorbable forms I should say, that which can be absorbed in the body. So these are nutrients. After the digestion of food has taken place, like how it takes place, we crush the food, then that food is sent into our stomach, some enzymes, some chemicals are mixed with it, which helps in breaking down various components of the food, like carbohydrates are formed, then fat gets broken into some fatty acids, and some proteins are broken into amino acids. So this is how the nutrients are converted or made from the complex food. Then third stage is called absorption. The third step is absorption. In absorption, what happens? The nutrients are being sent into the blood. Okay, the nutrients are sent into the blood. So this phase is called absorption. And for what? And in which forms the nutrients will go? Just like carbohydrates, they will go in the form of sugars, fats will go in the form of fatty acids, and proteins will go in the form of amino acids. So absorption means the nutrients from small intestine are being sent into the blood. Then comes assimilation. Assimilation. What is assimilation? Assimilation is the phase or the step in which the nutrients which have been absorbed are used up in the body in our various activities, like for growth, okay, for growth or for energy, like we do any activity. So it requires, what it requires? It requires energy. Like you are running, it requires energy. You are listening to me, it requires energy. You are doing any activity, it requires energy. Even if you are thinking something, then energy is required. If you are scratching your head, energy is required. You are holding a pen pencil in your hand, that also requires energy. So from where that will come? It will be a part of assimilation. Assimilation means that nutrients are being used for growth and energy. Then last step is called egestion. What do we call it? Egestion. Spell after me. Egestion. Egestion. What is egestion? In egestion, the elimination of waste takes place. Elimination. What do you mean by elimination? Elimination is the process in which whatever has been eaten, whatever is being taken, consumed by the person, will be done what? Whatever the waste thing is left in the body, that has to be given out. That has to be expelled from the body. Otherwise, it is going to create problem in the body.